Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. This week, we learn about Ralph and Carrie Munson, the first Seventh-day Adventist missionaries to Indonesia. On December 6, 1899, Ralph W. Munson wrote and mailed a postcard to the General Conference from Italy, reporting that the first leg of their voyage to Indonesia was pleasant and that they expected to reach Sumatra on January 1, 1900. Who was Ralph W. Munson? Ralph Waldo Munson was born July 6, 1860, in the U.S. state of Ohio. He studied at Oberlin College. After graduation, he and fellow student Carrie Gasser, who had been born March 7, 1863, in Toledo, Ohio, married each other on September 30, 1886. Together they had 5 children, 4 of whom were born in the mission field and 1 in Ohio. The Munsons first went in 1886 as Methodist missionaries to India and Burma, where Ralph became proficient in the Malay language. After 10 years at their station, their health had declined, and so they returned to the States in June 1896 for treatment. In September 1897, Ralph ceased his pastoral appointment in Toledo, Ohio, and took up selling life insurance because, in his words, quote, "My health being such that the work of the ministry became impossible." Shortly after that, Ralph heard of the Battle Creek Sanitarium and was urged to go there for treatment. They decided to go despite, Ralph said, his strong prejudice against the Seventh-day Adventist Church and its teachings. So the Munsons arrived in Battle Creek, Michigan in July 1898. While being treated at the San, Ralph and Carrie studied the Bible with Sarepta Henry. Ralph's prejudices against these Adventists went away as he read the church's literature, and by December 1898, the two had become Seventh-day Adventists, and Ralph Munson was hired as the sanitarium's chaplain. During the Michigan Conference camp meeting in 1899, Ralph was selected to go back to the mission field, and he cheerfully accepted the appointment. On November 11, 1899, the Munsons sailed from New York City, headed back to the mission field, this time as self-supporting Seventh-day Adventist missionaries, working as teachers of English and piano in the local community. Ralph and Carrie Munson were the first Seventh-day Adventists to establish themselves in Indonesia, and they were instrumental in many things, including setting up an Adventist publishing house. The Munsons traveled in 1904 to Australia so that their children could be educated at Avondale College, now university, and then in 1913 to the United States, where they settled in California. Ralph did translation work, lectured at Pacific Union College, and served as a chaplain at the St. Helena and Glendale sanitariums. Carrie labored beside him in the Glendale Sanitarium, deeply involved in the Dorcas Society attached to the church there. Ralph died March 8, 1934. Carrie died 2 years later on December 13, 1936. Ralph and Carrie's choice to go to the Battle Creek Sanitarium for treatment had long-reaching effects. Many of their descendants went on to serve the Seventh-day Adventist Church in various capacities. For example, their son Albert and his wife Catherine served as missionaries to Indonesia, New Guinea, and Borneo. Ralph and Carrie's granddaughter, Albert and Catherine's daughter Eva, was an elementary school teacher at John Nevin Andrews School in Tacoma Park, Maryland, and her husband, David H. Bosch, was the second undersecretary of the General Conference, serving from 1982 to 1986. What a big effect a single choice made. The story of Ralph and Carrie Munson and their family comes from This Week in Adventist History.